Guys, it's Susan. I'm back for another episode of Going Deeper with God, and wanted to talk to you about something that's happened to me over the holidays. By the way, Happy New Year to everybody, and hope you are enjoying your time with family and friends. Over the holidays, I work at a university, and so I've had 2 weeks off. I got off the Monday before Christmas, and I go back on the 4th. So I've really enjoyed having my time off, and it was 80 degrees for Christmas, and now it's 45 outside, so hence the scarf. But over the Christmas holidays, I don't want you to think I was a total geek, because I did do some shopping, some reading, I watched some movies, but I did some purging of my house, and I'm going to add some photos either in the video or at the end. Now you might think, Susan, what does that have to do with going deeper with God? Well, I'm going to tell you. I honestly think that it was ordained by God, because I had a friend tell me, she said, Susan, I think you're in a season of getting your house in order. Which kind of offended me, because I think, I pretty much kind of already have my house in order, but I understood what she was saying, that it's like a transition time. So what I did is I watch a lot of organizational videos on YouTube anyway. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube, which is probably why I decided to make my own YouTube channel. But a couple of the videos that I like are Alejandra. She does organizational videos, and Life is Organized with Mindy Parikh. She's really very funny. And so I just enjoy watching these organizational videos and applying that to my life. So I happened to watch this video about this woman from Japan. Forgive me if I get her name wrong. I believe her name is Marie Khan. But she has this method that she calls the Khan-Marie method. And it's really quite interesting. It's not purging, even though I'm using the term purging. She says, don't just get rid of stuff. The idea is to keep what you really love. I thought that makes a whole lot of sense. So I've been going through my house room by room. I don't have a very big house. I have a condo, but I have accumulated a lot of duplicates in my life. I've got too many coats. I live in the South. It's not that cold. I had 2 double boilers, 2 skillets. I really don't need duplicates of things. So I went through my closets and pulled things out, but it got me thinking about when my dad passed away. My boss at the time said, you need to set things straight, and I had to transition my mom from living at home to living in an assisted living facility. So the boss gave me 2 months off. And during that time, my sister was taking care of financial bank stuff, and I was able to go through the house and get rid of some things. Now, my parents were children of the Great Depression, and they stockpiled. They had you give my mom perfume, and she'd say, "Oh, thank you," and she'd put it up in a closet somewhere, and never use it. And my dad had collections of things that really were special to them, but didn't have any special meaning to my sister or I, or anybody else in the family. So it made me think about all the things that I've collected in my travels and my time overseas, and how, is anybody really going to want this when I'm gone? Not to be morbid or anything, but you've got to think about that. Is this something that's going to be cherished, or is this something that somebody else is going to have to clean up? Now, that's not why I purged, but I just had that in my mind while I was doing it. I purged for me because I live a very busy life, and I wanted to simplify. So it got me thinking about our Christian life, and about how in our lives we take on sometimes other people's problems. we take on a burden that somebody else is supposed to bear. God gives us grace for what He's called us to bear. God gives me grace to be a teacher. But He doesn't give my friend who is a hairdresser that grace. I hope you understand. I'm not talking about God gives all of His grace. I mean, grace is God's favor. But He gives us a special ability to handle the things that He's called us to handle. I've got a friend that works in an orphanage and has like 50 kids under her care. God's given her grace to handle that I don't have. If God called me to do that, God would give me the grace to handle it. So God gives us the grace to handle the things that He's called us to do. I'm an intercessor. I can spend the next week in prayer. I mean, that's something I have grace for. But my friend is very interested in politics and the government, and God has given her grace for that. Now, if I watch a lot of news, I'm going to get flat out depressed because I don't have that grace on my life. So, one way we can purge is by going, I may not supposed to be in that club, or I may not supposed to be doing this thing because God hasn't given me the grace for it. I'm going to pray about it. I'm going to see what He says, because we talked about hearing God's voice in the first video, and I'm going to purge it if it's not something He's called me to do. So, purging is, to me, simplifying our life. Now, the Apostle Paul said that I press forward to win the prize. Now, I heard this when I was in high school and giggled at it. That the Roman athletes, they ran naked. Yeah. And the reason they did that was to aerodynamics, to be unhindered. And so that's what purging to me is about. Purging is about living a life that's unhindered by stuff, by things, by being involved in the wrong activities. Because I'll give you a good example. What if I become the chairperson of this club because that strokes my ego, makes me feel good. But it's not what I'm supposed to do. And then and this will happen sometimes as we mature in Christ, along comes the thing that I really love to do, that's my niche, that's my gifting. But I can't do it because I'm committed to this other thing. So purging, and this is a really divine thing to do at the beginning of the year, is to purge those things that don't belong in your life, to really get a notebook and go before God and ask Him. And maybe people have told you, I don't see you on the worship team at church. I see you working with the kids. And so maybe you have already been told that enough times that you realize maybe that's something I should purge, and I should focus on something else. Second thing, adding. All right, so I in addition to purging, I read this book on weight loss because that's something else I need to do. This woman lost 50 pounds and kept it off. She was middle-aged like me. And she said the way she did it is that she added one new substitution. So take, for example, instead of buying the French fries with your hamburger, substitute a salad and get low-fat dressing. Or one thing she said was she drinks a lot of Cokes like I do, and she said she substituted tonic water, seltzer water, Perrier for the Cokes, and she did that for 2 weeks. Then she added another habit on top of that, and she kept doing this and monitoring her weight. She didn't quit the first habit. She added it. So in essence, she was stacking habits. And at the end, so she would see, oh, well, cutting out my mayonnaise on my sandwich at lunch didn't really seem to make a difference in my weight. So maybe I can add that back on. But she really cut out the things that were bad for her and substituted or added something else. So that's what we're talking about this new year, is finding those things that may not be the best for us, taking on somebody else's burden, doing something for somebody that they have the ability to do for themselves. You can purge that. You can say, little Timmy, who's 35, it's time for you to wash your own clothes, for example. And then you can add things on that bring benefit to your life. I hope that you find this beneficial for your new year, because God is always wanting to give us things that excite us, that bring us joy, and we don't want to be encumbered. We don't want, that's an old word, we don't want to be burdened or under a heavy load of something that doesn't exactly fit our gift mix. So, as I always say, love one another, love God, and pray for our country. Happy New Year. Oh, by the way, at the end I'm putting on a short video of my art store that I've started, just for your interest, and drop by, check it out. Thanks a lot. Bye.